There are video games that entertain you, there are games that impress you, and then there are games that completely redefine what the medium is capable of. Red Dead Redemption 2 is firmly in that final category. When people talk about immersion, or storytelling, or open world design, this is the game they point to. Not because it's the biggest open world ever made, not because it's the most detailed, but because Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of the few games where every system, every mechanic, every animation, every character, and every quiet moment work together to create a world that feels genuinely lived in. It's not a theme park like Grand Theft Auto. It's not a checklist-driven RPG. It's a world designed to slow you down, to make you observe, reflect, and feel the weight of every decision, every consequence, and every chapter of Arthur Morgan's journey. And that's what makes this game so powerful. Not just the spectacle, but the soul. Red Dead Redemption 2 stands out as one of the greatest games ever made because it merges its narrative, characters, gameplay systems, atmosphere, and music into a single, cohesive experience. Every minor detail, from how Arthur reloads his revolver to how the score swells during emotional moments, reinforces the central themes of identity, loyalty, change, and the inevitable collapse of a life lived outside the law. This is a game where story and gameplay don't coexist, they enhance each other. A game where the protagonist isn't shaped by the plot, but by the world around him. And a game where the slow, methodical pace becomes part of the storytelling itself. Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't just a prequel to Red Dead Redemption. It's a meditation on endings, of the Old West, of the Van der Linde gang, and of Arthur Morgan himself. Arthur Morgan is one of the most fully realised characters ever put into a video game. Rockstar didn't create a typical action hero. They created a man shaped by circumstance, loyalty, and years of survival. One thing that makes Arthur so compelling is the amount of insight the game gives into his thoughts. His journal isn't just a gimmick, it's practically a character itself. He sketches moments that matter to him. He writes about the people he cares about. He reflects on Dutch, on the gang, on his own past, and eventually on his own morality. These entries let you see a version of Arthur that the world around him never does. Thoughtful, sensitive, almost poetic. Arthur's best characterization doesn't always come from cutscenes. It comes from the quiet moments, feeding his horse while humming a tune, comforting Jack when he's scared, teasing Lenny at camp, bonding with Charles or Hosea on long rides, or stopping to help a stranger just because he can. These interactions build a picture of a man who wants to be better, even if the world hasn't allowed him to be. At the beginning of the game, Arthur's worldview is very simple. I trust Dutch. Dutch saved him. Dutch raised him. Dutch gave him a home when he had nothing. But over time, Arthur's blind loyalty starts to break down as Dutch becomes more erratic, paranoid, and manipulative. This internal conflict is the heart of Arthur's arc, the slow realization that loyalty isn't the same thing as righteousness. As the gang declines, Arthur grows. He becomes more introspective, more empathetic, and more aware of the consequences of Dutch's actions. Arthur's ending, whether honourable or dishonourable, is one of the most emotional in gaming. And the reason it hits so hard is because we've spent dozens of hours learning who he is. We've lived his story, we've felt his regrets, and we've watched him choose who he wants to be in his final moments. Arthur Morgan works because he feels real, flawed, human, and unforgettable. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a tragedy disguised as an outlaw adventure. It's not about winning. It's about watching everything fall apart. The year is 1899. The West is closing. The world is changing. And the Vandalin gang, these outlaws who have survived for years by outrunning civilization, are finally running out of places to hide. The story is built around this slow, inevitable collapse. Every chapter is another step toward the end. Dutch begins the game charismatic, principled, and seemingly driven by a noble cause. But pressure reveals a darker side: greed, paranoia, delusion, and ego. His speeches become repetitive. His plans grow more reckless. His trust in Micah blinds him, and the man he once was slips away. Watching Dutch fall apart is heartbreaking, not because he changes suddenly, but because he changes gradually in a way that feels tragically real. One of the story's biggest strengths is how alive the gang feels. You eat with them, laugh with them, listen to their conversations, watch relationships form, break, and heal. Characters like Hosea, Charles, Sadie, Tilly, Javier, and Lenny all have meaningful personal arcs. You learn their hopes, their fears, their flaws. So when the gang begins to crumble, you feel it. Red Dead Redemption 2's story is long, but it needs to be. The slow pacing serves a purpose: to show stability, to show doubt growing, to show the gang destabilizing, and then to show everything falling apart. By the time you reach the epilogue with John Marston, you've witnessed not just a story, but the full cycle of a dying era. Red Dead Redemption 2 gameplay is deliberately slow and weighty. Rockstar didn't want you sprinting through missions. They wanted you to exist in this world. Everything takes time. Looting, skinning animals, picking herbs, cleaning guns, bonding with your horse. These aren't chores. They're tone-setting mechanics that reinforce the game's realism. Some people found this frustrating, others found it immersive, but either way, it's intentionally part of the game's identity. Combat is heavy, impactful, and authentic. Every weapon feels distinct, from the satisfying thump of the shotgun to the sharp crack of the Schofield revolver. Deadeye remains one of the most stylish mechanics in gaming. In Red Dead 2, it's used sparingly but effectively, turning certain moments into cinematic set pieces. One of the best aspects of Red Dead 2 is how unpredictable the world is. You might be ambushed by bandits, approached by someone needing help, chased by bounty hunters, pulled into a stranger mission, attacked by wildlife, or encounter something absolutely bizarre. It makes the world feel alive in a way no scripted system could replicate. And the hunting system is absurdly deep. We have animal behaviours, tracking systems, scent mechanics, weapon-specific kills affecting pelt quality, crafting recipes, and even legendary animals. You could spend hours just hunting and never get bored. Red Dead Redemption 2's world isn't just impressive. It's arguably the most atmospheric open world ever built. The variety in the environment is staggering. From snowy mountain peaks to foggy swamps, rolling green plains to dense forests, sun-scorched deserts, or industrial cities like Saint-Denis. From frontier towns, ranches, and even outlaw camps, every region feels handcrafted. And the weather system deserves an award on its own. Thunderstorms with cinematic lightning, thick fog at dawn, heat haze in the desert, or blizzards and blinding snow. Golden sunsets over the heartlands. Time of day transforms the mood entirely. The wildlife system is unmatched. We've got 200 plus animal species, dynamic behaviours, hunting, tracking and survival mechanics, predator versus prey interactions. Feels like a real ecosystem. And then the sound design is also a masterpiece, from distant gunfire to insects buzzing, wind through the trees, horses breathing and snorting, towns full of chatter, camp songs, laughter and arguments. You don't explore in silence, you explore in atmosphere. The world feels lived in because Rockstar doesn't treat it like a map, they treat it like a place. Every abandoned cabin has a story. Every NPC has a routine. Every settlement has its own culture, accent and history. This isn't a playground. It's a world that existed before you arrived and will continue after you leave. Woody Jackson's score is the emotional core of Red Dead Redemption 2's atmosphere. The music is reactive. It adjusts constantly. Soft acoustic themes during exploration, tense strings during combat, sombre melodies during emotional scenes. It never overwhelms the moment, it supports it. And then you've got the game's vocal songs as well. Things like Unshaken, That's the Way It Is, Cruel World, and May I Stand Unshaken. These tracks elevate the most important scenes in the story. One of Rockstar's smartest design choices is when the music stops. Those stretches of silence while the wind blows or a bird calls create a sense of solitude and reflection. This restraint is part of what gives Red Dead 2 its emotional power. For achievement hunters like myself, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a long but rewarding challenge. There are 51 achievements and some require serious dedication. Best in the West, achieve 100% completion. This includes discovering animals, doing all stranger missions, challenges, collecting items and more. Lending a hand, complete all missable honor-based story missions or side missions. If you didn't know they were missable, you could easily miss this. Gold Rush, achieve 70 gold medals in story missions. This one's widely considered one of the most time consuming. And right next to that, we've got Skin Deep and Zoologist. So that's to study and skin all animals in story mode. So given how massive the wildlife system is, this one takes patience. The estimated completion time on Xbox typically takes about 150 to 200 hours, depending on how methodical you are. So some basic tips that I have followed myself is to do missable missions early, so as soon as possible. Focus on challenges throughout your playthrough. Keep a checklist of animals and crafting items. And don't leave gold medals for the end. Tackle them as you go, bit by bit. For players who love long-term goals, Red Dead 2 is definitely one of the best grinds on the platform. Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't just a game. It's an experience that redefines what video game storytelling can be. It's a world filled with life and detail. A cast of characters that feel real. A protagonist whose journey stays with you long after the credits roll. And a story that serves as both a prequel and a final farewell to a mythologized version of the Old West. Everything in this game, the slow pacing, the weighty gameplay, the atmospheric world, the unforgettable music, comes together to create something timeless. This is a story about loyalty, change, regret, and redemption. It's a story about an era ending, and it's a story that only works because of the human heart at its centre, Arthur Morgan. Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't perfect, no game is, but it's as close as gaming has ever come to capturing the feeling of living another life. And that's why it stands as one of the greatest games ever made.